Gary Williams here. Some friends of mine are making a difference in the community, and one of the ways they're doing that is helping to sponsor this podcast. Petroselli Homes Realty Group is a boutique brokerage service located in downtown Niles. They offer a personal and intentional touch to the home buying and selling market. They take the time to learn each client's story, much like this podcast, because to them, the first step in linking buyers to the home of their dreams starts with understanding and a great deal of trust. John and Jennifer Petroselli have had the honor of helping countless buyers and sellers make effective real estate decisions to plant their roots, raise their families, expand their wealth, or simply relax and retire. So if what I've described is what you might be looking for in a realtor, I suggest getting in touch with Petroselli Homes on Niles Boulevard in downtown Niles. Now, coming to you straight from Fremont, California, this is the Fremont Podcast, dedicated to telling the stories of the past and present of the people and places of the city of Fremont, one conversation at a time. Now, here's your host, Ricky B.
Hello, Fremont. You are listening to episode number 10. Wow. 10 episodes already. Thank you so much for being regular and faithful listeners of the Fremont Podcast. It wouldn't be worth doing if it weren't for you. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for rating wherever it is that you listen. It's all a big help to build our community. Well, speaking of building our community, I can't think of another place in Fremont that has made Fremont shine and has drawn more attention than the Flying A downtown Niles. And I get to sit down with Renee and Kristen, who are the minds and the muscle behind all that's happening down at the Flying A in Niles. If you haven't seen it yet, you need to drive down to Niles. And as you're coming in off of Mission Boulevard, you'll see this beautiful gas station that takes you back in time. That's the Flying A. And before we jump into our episode today, I just wanted to tell you, every second Sunday, they have a special event called Classic Cars and Coffee. And it starts at 7 in the morning every second Sunday of the month. You'll not want to miss it. It's coming up this month, March 13th. You'll want to be there. So if you like cars, if you like coffee, if you just like hanging out, then go down and check it out at the Flying A downtown Niles. Well, let's get started. All right, well, today I am at the Flying A, and I am with Renee and Kristen. They are the masterminds and the, shall I say, the master brawn behind the magic that's happening here at the Flying A.
Hi.
Hello. Hi.
Yeah, we are actually in the garage right now, and there's a lot of different projects going on here. Renee, tell me the projects that you have in the garage right now.
Well, we have a 67 Camaro. Excuse me. We did have a 67 Camaro. We have now a 67 Corvette sitting here, rebuilt pretty much the whole car. It's been sitting for approximately 20 years, and now we're kind of putting it back together, making street-worthy. Between suspension, steering, motor, electrical, and we're at the final stage right now. We're putting a windshield back in it, and then it's back home.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, and then the other car here is a GT350H, which was offered by Hertz as a rent-a-car back in '65. Beautiful car, black, gold trim, and we're fixing some minor oil leaks. Just little braking issues, and both these cars will be going home to their owners this weekend.
Nice. And
then we got other projects following right behind it. But again, it's really nice. These are both basically showpieces, icing. People like eye candy, as they say. But,
yeah. They're beautiful. Yeah. And Kristen's the mastermind behind the Instagram account and all the other social media out there.
I try.
What else do you do, Kristen? You have...
So I do have a day job for City County of San Francisco, but when I'm not doing that, I'm promoting this place for events for our social club. We do a second Sunday of the month, Classics and Coffee, and last Sunday was our second Sunday of the month, and we had close to 100 cars. And
wow.
serving up the breakfast tacos. And
That's awesome.
We have members who support us while we do that. Al Persalis of Fat Cat Tires, he takes good care of us with his family doing the breakfast tacos and helping us out with tires around here. And so special events.
It's awesome. I think this place has got to be the one thing in the city right now that's really making people's heads turn. Because I know when I first started seeing the changes happening to this place, it was a dump. I mean, I don't know how, maybe a year ago or so.
Yeah.
And then you guys have just turned this around, and you literally feel like you've stepped back in time, and in a lot of different ways, not just in the looks, but actually it seems like in the in everything that's going on around here. Mm-hmm. So, Renee, tell me a little bit about. Tell me your story. Like, I know that when I've come in here and chatted with you before, you talked about. I think you lived up near Oakland or something like that. Tell me how you ended up down here in Niles and what brought you here.
Well, I was pretty much an Oakland boy. Me and my friends, teenagers, we're all, again, into cars, big motors, going fast. And Fremont was the drag strip. So, of course, we come down here. Wednesday nights was a big night, Wednesday night grudge matches. And run what you brung. So you could bring your mom's station wagon or build your own car. And it was a lot of fun. I mean, it was also a place to meet girls, too. So it had a lot of pluses to it. So it was a regular for us back in the 70s. And in the 80s, it was a lot of fun. And
I think that anybody that lives here now or who has come here recently would never know that Fremont was known for being a drag strip area.
Oh.
Where exactly was it located?
Well, now they call it Auto Park Mall, but it's Auto Mall Parkway, but it was Durham Road. So, and then it was right along the freeway. The drag strip paralleled the freeway going south towards San Jose. So you could drive down the freeway and there'd be cars drag racing right next beside you. So it was actually pretty interesting. And it was, like I said, a beautiful, iconic spot. The mountains on one side, the bay on the other. Yeah.
Wow.
Great
Beautiful
place.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And then you were in Oakland, and then you decided to move on down here then.
Yeah. Well, it was like a middle place for a lot of things. I had an automotive shop in Lafayette. My wife was high-tech Silicon Valley. So Niles was great middle ground for the commute. And plus, it's just such a historical Route 66 kind of town anyway, on its own.
Yeah, for sure. And then, so tell me, you fast forward to a year or two ago, and then what gave you the vision, or like, how did you get into this place? And what exactly is this? Because I know that when I came and talked to you one time about maybe bringing my car in your here, I was like, we're not really like a traditional garage. We're something different than that. So tell me about your vision behind this place and what it actually is.
Well, I'd been in cars since I was a kid. 13, I had my first car.
Wow.
So I'd always been working with cars, restoring cars, playing with cars. And so I've done enough cars in my life. And of course, later on, they start looking at these vintage gas stations. Mm-hmm. And Niles was one of these few places that had this unrestored gas station, been sitting here like this unpolished gem forever. And it had been literally a chop shop. You wouldn't even notice the gas station because of all the wrecked cars, body parts sitting out front for 20 some odd years.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Or more.
Yeah.
And so I'd been kind of chomping the bit wanting to do something with this place. And then finally the opportunity opened up to come in here and make it what it is.
That's awesome. And then what is it?
Well,
what do we have here? So
this property was bought from the railroad in 1938 by the Solon brothers.
Okay.
They one brother had built a gas station, the other brother built a roadside diner, and they're both basically pretty much clones of each other. Both buildings are identical except for the facade for the gas pumps on the station. But it was a Flying A, and it's for its onset, and then later on it was bought out by Standard Oil, which became Chevron, and became different gasoline brands over the years. But its first gas pump brand was Flying A, and so that's pretty. What we've done is we restored it back to what it originally was a Flying A. Colors, everything were what it was back in the 40s.
Yeah, wow. It's become a magnet, too. I mean, you guys, what you post on social media and the photographers that come down here, I mean, is that something that you're trying to create as well?
It is.
What is that?
It's our initial thinking was we were so excited to get in here, and Renee has been passionate about classic cars all his life, like you said, and he wants to focus on pre-75. And he wants to do projects that he can really get into, like this Corvette here. I mean, this is definitely a showpiece, and he loves projects like this. And then for the rest of it, we want the community to be able to enjoy it. So from the ground up, we've had everybody involved. It's like we've had Barry Jennings, the local painter, Rago Neon, which is a local family who owns a neon company that is responsible for the San Francisco restoration signs like you see in North Beach. We've also had Bobby Dalton, our local graphics designer, many, many people just helping us do this. And plus, of course, we got in here with the help of Gary Mills Mechanical, and he owns a lot of buildings in town and is just all about saving Niles. And so we want it to be community friendly, not just fixing cars. So we have a social club that people can belong to and support us, kind of like a Rotary Club or like an Elks Club where you belong and you put your time in. And eventually we're going to have the back patio where people can sit and have a beer, have a burger, and just hang out, watch the trains, talk cars, listen to music. And it's just all encompassing, family friendly, enjoy the car theme. We have, I don't know if I could say this, but Cars, the movie, we have, Doc sitting in the field. We have Mater sitting in the field. And we have Lizzie right over here that eventually will become a barbecue.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so it's just something for everybody. And then with the photographers, it's just been eye-catching the whole time. And we're very lucky that we call them the two Alexes. And Alex is displayed on our wall. One of the Alexes is displayed on our wall here, and he comes in and does and posts photos for us to help us get the name out. And another Alex does a lot of Southern California car club work, and he's been coming in, and you'll see Miss Show on my Instagram, and he's her photographer.
Okay.
And so we've been getting the word out that way. And, we make it available for film shoots, photo shoots, video shoots, all kinds of things.
That's awesome. I love it. I think every time I see a photo pop up that you guys post, it's just brilliant. I like it. I don't know. When I drive by here, I live about a mile away. When I drive by here, I slow down and I look and I just see guys out talking, people working on cars, and I do feel like I'm looking into a little window into the past, and I just think that that's really amazing. I mean, so you guys have really worked out, or at least you're on your way to working out what you want this place to be and what you would like it to become. What would you? I mean, how would you like this to influence the rest of Niles or the rest of the area? Like you mentioned something about a vision for what Niles could be or what it once was. I mean, what are some of the things that you would love to see maintained or recovered from the past?
Well, this pretty much is, for me, I've always been kind of this Route 66 guy. So I like that this of all of Fremont, Niles has an amazing history to itself, be it the railroad, the Golden Spike, World War II with all the factories that were here, the supporting the war effort. And then just the family businesses that were here that started off in this town. They became these icons across California.
S&A Film Museum. There's a lot.
The Charlie Chaplin, like she said, the S&A. Again, the food companies, businesses, they came out of here. There are so many buildings that are just you drive through and yet there have been missed in the past, and now people are starting to slow down and look at them and go, wow, this is an amazing little community. Let's stop, have lunch here, dinner here, or just take a walk.
So, I mean, you've set the bar high. I mean, it is a. I mean, I think that if everyone aspired to do what you have done here, the rest of the way down the street and around town, I think it would just turn into this amazing community of just beauty and history. What are some of the memories that you have? What are maybe there's some specific memories that you have of coming down here to Fremont or in Niles or the drag strip? Anything fun, anything stupid or crazy that you think back on that was exciting for you?
Well, back for us, again, going down to Fremont Raceway, before it was called Balin's.
Okay.
Niles was known for its nightclubs, bars, and again, dancing. So we would come down here afterwards and go dancing. So again, another place to meet girls, and it was fun. It was one of the few places in Fremont to get away and do something. It was kind of off the main, kind of hidden by itself.
Right.
And it is. It's a little gem hidden by itself. A lot of people really didn't find Niles or know about Niles until this really recent history here.
Yeah.
And now
I've talked to people. Yeah, I've talked to people who've been here in Fremont for 20, 30 years, and they just found out about Niles. Like this, I think it's still hidden.
Funny.
I think it's still hidden. I was talking to somebody recently. I was doing an interview with them, and they told me my grandmother or my mother lived in Fremont for the last 25 years, and when they told them that they were going to be going to Niles, they said, "Where's that?" They just assumed it was somewhere else. So you're right; it is a hidden gem. Yeah.
I mean, most. I mean, I'm my automotive business in Lafayette area, Rinda Moraga, and none of my customers knew where I lived.
Yeah.
I go Niles. I go, "Where's that?" And I go, "You know where Pleasanton is?" And they go, "Oh, I know where Pleasanton is." I go, "Well, it's close."
Yeah. Right.
Or if you say Niles Canyon, they're like, "Oh yeah, we know Niles Canyon."
Yeah.
Well, we're at the end of it.
Yeah. There was rocks. The river, whatever, closed up.
Yeah.
Canyon's closed. It's on the news.
Yeah.
But again, that was all they knew about Niles.
Wow. Where did all the vintage stuff come from? Like you've got, I know you were talking about the trucks and the stuff in the field from like the cars, lookalikes and stuff, but you've got the beautiful truck out in front of the garage, and then all the gas pumps and everything. Where did all that come from?
Well, a lot of the stuff, believe it or not, donations.
A lot of
Really?
donations.
People come through and
If
they
you
want to
build
be
it,
involved.
They do come.
Wow.
They want to be piece of the pie. Again, kudos to Gary Mills. He's a big collector of Americana and vintage cars. He does park street cars every weekend here. Most of the stuff is from the 30s. He parks on the streets of Niles. So again, it brings people in. It showcases what this town is.
Yeah.
But amazingly,
Lot of
people
donations.
show up and they're like, "Hey, you know what? I got this sitting in my garage or my closet, my backyard, and would you want this?" And so, that has been, again, really nice to have happen because it brings back memories for some and new memories for the next generation.
Right. Yeah. What's one of your favorite cars to work on? Like, what have you done that you've really enjoyed, or what do you? What's one of your favorite projects that you've done?
I like anything I don't have to smog. So the cars, it doesn't really matter the car as long as it's a vintage car. I actually tell the truth, I like any car that still had wind wings on it. Okay. Which are the little windows you could crack open to let air in the car. Yeah. This is, like I said, if you didn't have air conditioning, you had wind wings.
Oh, totally. Yeah.
So I always like my cutoff year, kind of me personally, is like 1967.
Okay.
So
I would not have thought that. That's not what I would have guessed. I was thinking some big block or fancy whatever.
Yeah.
No.
What has been, Kristen? What's been your thought about all this? As far as like, I can tell you were a mechanic, Renee, and a lot of this stuff is bringing back memories from when you were a kid. Like, where does this fit in with your vision or your life and the things that you've done?
I just like everybody to have a good time.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. Being comfortable in the community and just welcoming people with open arms and great music, good fun, good food. That's what I'm all about,
Well, I was going to say, I know that when we talked originally about doing an interview or a podcast with you guys, one of the things that you mentioned is Car Talk Radio.
Yes.
And I know that I listen to it. I to be honest, I look at all this, and all this is so foreign to me. Like I love the idea of being able to do things because I love working with my hands. I've done small projects here and there, but I'm just not a mechanic. But I did listen to talk radio, like Car Talk Radio. That was one of my favorite shows to listen to, and I think that's one of the things that I think of when I look in here and I see all the guys working on different cars and doing different projects. It's just the kind of the getting together and just hanging out and chatting it up and stuff.
The Tappet brothers, I'm from the same area they're from, back in Massachusetts.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I grew up listening to that as well, and it's I've kind of had that automotive background my entire life. My family was welders and craftsmen and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
wow.
I've been around it, and now I'm married into it.
She's definitely the fish wife.
So the guys that are here working on different projects with you, like who are they and where do they fit into this whole thing? Are they part of this the club, I guess, or
pretty much, and friends. I'm the age where this is kind of my semi-retirement, and most of my friends are about the same age. So they're kind of I got a friend. He's an ex DMV investigations. Another friend's ex BAR guy. So we're all kind of automotive background
Yeah.
in one way or another. And so, again, they're here. I have my friend Bob. He helps me on the weekends. He comes out. He drives down from Sacramento, and he helps me for 2, 3, 4 days a week. And we do this because it's fun. We haven't made this a chore.
Yeah.
At least not yet.
Yeah. Well, they say, what do they say? If you do what you love, then you never work a day in your life or something like that.
Exactly.
So it's like, yeah. Well, that's great. Whose bike is that?
So that's mine. It was actually a beautiful bike at one time, and then I kind of destroyed it. But I wanted like a bar hopper.
Yeah.
But it was actually a perfect 1976 FLH bags and fairing on all. And
Wow.
But I wanted something I could go down to the local biker to Florence and leak oil on all the brand new Arlen Ness bikes. So
That's awesome.
yeah.
And Gangrene was born.
Yeah. So.
So on Sundays, I think it's the second Sunday of every month, you
Yes.
guys have a car gathering. People, who's invited to that? Like, who is that open to? Tell me.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. We want to make sure, and actually when we started this, people were just like, well, what kind of cars are you going to allow? And honestly, it's everything, because we want to make sure the car culture is everything, is everybody and what they love. So
It's young and old alike.
Yeah.
young and old, all makes, all models. We prefer pre-75, but we understand that people like the newer cars.
Yeah.
And they take pride in their projects.
We
Everything
have
they take
the
pride in.
Japanese car clubs that come in here, and they got some amazing stuff and amazing stories. So again, it's all the gambit. We've got, I mean, the brass cars, and when I say brass cars, I mean they're made out of brass. These cars come down the street, and they got wooden wheels and brass metalwork everywhere, and all the way up to the kids driving through with their loud mufflers, brand new Chargers and Mustangs and all that. So it's all over, and everything
The
in between.
drifters and the low riders, the
yeah.
customs. We love them all.
Everybody's got a story. So
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that's really important about, I think something that we lose from transitioning out of like this time period that you've taken us back into to modern day social media and stuff like that. I mean, we say we're connected, but I think there's you can't replace,
Right.
Spending time with each other, working on things together, just hanging out and talking about life. I think that's great.
Well, we do get a lot of, and like you say that. I mean, it's interesting because almost every day, some person will come in here, mother, daughter, sister, father and son, and they go, yeah, we've got this project that's been sitting, and I want to put together. I want my son and my daughter to be involved in this, and I get so much of that. And can we come down here and take a picture, or do you have any ideas? You want to come by and look at our project we're working on? And so you get to hear everybody's piece of the pie on this.
That's awesome. That's great. Well, I love what you've done, and I hope that we can, hear more from you, and I hope that more of the community comes out here. Again, second Sunday of every month. Is there anything else that you guys would like to share or throw out there that would be helpful for the community to know?
Well, Niles, we just have a whole calendar of events this year. The Wildflower Festival's coming back. The Dog Show's coming back. We're going to have the Spring Fever Car Show in May. So Niles is back on track this year. Last year, we were really lucky with how the pandemic was kind of rolling around. We got to really put on some great events. Yeah. And we're doubling down this year and bringing the calendar back to life.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
There was I can't remember exactly what it was or what day it was, but I remember things were, it was getting really exhausting. The whole COVID thing was exhausting for everyone.
Absolutely.
But I remember one day it was just getting really exhausting, and I came down here and I just saw the car show set up, and I didn't know it was coming.
Last August, yes.
It was awesome.
We had 450 cars.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Like, it was so encouraging just to drive around and see everyone out mingling together, looking at cars, and it was really, really cool. So I'm glad that that's coming back.
Yeah, trying to keep the attitude happy and everybody having fun. That's for sure. So.
Yeah. That's great. Well, if you come down to Niles and you see the Flying A, slow down or stop in and say hi. Don't stay high for too long because Renee's got to get some work done.
It's okay. I like talking.
He does love talking.
Yeah. Well, Renee and Kristen, thank you guys for joining me today, and thank you for letting me crash your party here. And I hope get to do it again sometime.
Absolutely, anytime. Thanks.
Thank you. Thanks. Yeah.
You've been listening to the Fremont Podcast. Be sure to subscribe wherever it is that you listen so you don't miss an episode. And if you're so inclined, leave a kind review so that others can find the podcast. To stay connected with us, you can find links to our social media and other content at thefremontpodcast.com. This episode was hosted, edited, and produced by Ricky B. Music provided through Soundstripe.com. I'm Gary Williams. Join us next week on the Fremont Podcast.
Muggins Media.